All right, so it's about 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm as awake as I'll ever be. And we're in New Jersey, and we have to get here to System Source. And there's a swap meet going on, and the computer museum there is always great. It's going to be a heck of a drive. Let's do it. So after the nearly 3-hour drive, it was nice to get out of the car and see what there was for sale. Although the swap meet I'm used to at VCF East is much larger than this, you still see some of the same vendors, and of course there's always familiar faces to bump into. My friends here were selling a bunch of cool stuff, and unfortunately I ended up taking home things from each of them, so they're all bad influences, and I love them. My friend Sean here had some interesting items left over from some various cursed projects over the years. And my friend Mike had a bunch of cool Mac stuff and some PC things as well. So I got to the swap meet just before 8 a.m., so here's a brief walkthrough of what I saw. I'll let the video footage do the talking for me. And of course, no Vintage Computer Swap Meet event would be complete without the free pile. And immediately I saw some interesting things here, including this Apple II power supply. Even though it said bad, I thought, well, even the connector on the end there could be useful for something, so I picked that up. There were some Apple keyboards here, an Apple display, and a bunch of doodads. I didn't really take much from here, but this was picked clean thoroughly over the day, and there wasn't too much left at the end, although people did keep adding to it throughout the day, so that was nice. One of the vendors, Ryan, over here had a bunch of cool things on display. They had some Macs, some PCs, and everything in between. There was a lot of very cool stuff here, and this was one of the more popular tables that people were gathering to throughout the day. And it wasn't long before Sean conned me into buying one of his laptops.
Why would you want this? This is garbage.
I didn't pay you yet.
This is great. JBL speakers, they sound awesome.
They don't interfere with the Wi-Fi card at all?
I think it's running next step.
My offer goes to $2 now.
Running in quotes.
As the morning went on, a bunch of folks started pouring in, and the free pile was steadily expanding. My friend Justin from the Justin D. Morgan YouTube channel had a bunch of cool donations that he was putting on the free pile from himself and from our other friend Retrotech Chris, who unfortunately couldn't make the event, but there was this very cool Macintosh SE that was donated that somebody picked up right away. There were a lot of laptop PC parts and things like that, but this caught my eye. It was a Macintosh SE, and it didn't look like it had the logic board or the power supply, but it looked like it had the screen maybe. It was pretty light though. However, I just could not resist it because it had that Pioneer New Media Technologies sticker on the side of it. So I thought, okay, well, it's good enough for parts or for something else that maybe I could use for another project. But thankfully, I wasn't the only one taking questionable things from the free pile. I see some regret in the making.
Look, I purchased this for $0.
Do you have a regret sticker, Justin, for him?
It's called the receipt.
The receipt.
Here we go. I will give you a Wheel of Regrets button.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm going to give you a dinosaur button.
Love it.
This table was run by Jeff. He had a lot of interesting game-related stuff on display, including this home theater case that was a computer, I guess, built by Gateway. So that was pretty interesting to see. I remember seeing advertisements for that back in the day. And he had quite a bit of software, so I actually ended up picking up a few titles from him later in the day. This vendor coming up on the left did have some interesting vintage Apple stuff, although things weren't at a low enough price point to justify me picking up random things for the heck of it, especially since I wasn't sure if I had some of those CDs or booklets at home, but I did end up grabbing some Apple Service Source discs, which I'll be archiving sometime soon. I didn't take video clips of everything, but here are some photos of some cool things I saw at the swap meet. Alex here had a lot of cool PCs on display, and this was one of the first swap meets where I saw a lot of Sun equipment. Although a lot of it was already packed away by the time I captured this footage, it was really cool to see some of those systems because that's just something you don't see too often at these shows. It was about noon now, and although the sun was hiding behind the clouds, a lot of the sellers did start to pack up some of their bulkier items. There was still quite a lot of stuff to sort through, especially cables and stuff in these bins and boxes, so although some of the tempting things were already scooped up by others, there was still plenty to sort through. But as the show came to a close, there was always room for one more stop at the free pile. Anything good?
Yeah, look, here, this stuff, like, I really want to take it, but I don't think I will, so if you want to take... And this,
That looks oddly familiar.
I don't know why.
Although I didn't buy too much at the swap meet, I did get quite a few cool things from the free pile, and of course some very kind donations from my friends. My friend Mike of Mike's Mess found these two Mac LCs on the free pile, and although they look like they're in terrible shape, maybe we could get some life out of them. And although our friend Retrotech Chris wasn't there, our pal Justin was able to pass along some goodies from him. Thanks, Chris! When I was a kid, this Star Wars game was something I always wanted. Unfortunately, we didn't have a PC, so I could never play it or buy it. But since I have a PC now, I decided to pick it up. This was a freebie from someone's table. I absolutely love the design and look of these books, so I wanted to add this one to my collection. And some slick master salesman, who may or may not be this person, sold me their cursed keyboard and this neat keypad. I also picked up this Atari Portfolio PC card drive. I do have an Atari Portfolio, and maybe now I could actually do something neat with it now that I have this adapter. And although stuffing your car with geeky e-waste is half the fun at these events, it's always nice to hang out with friends and catch up in person. Plus, this swap meet is located right at System Source, one of the coolest technology museums I've ever been to. I simply can't recommend it enough. They have a ton of unique things on display, and this is just scratching the surface. So if you're ever in the Maryland or Baltimore area, make sure you stop by. It's certainly worth it. I'll put a link in the video description. Although it was a long drive for me, I had a lot of fun. Let me know in the comment section if you spotted a good deal that you would have picked up. I always enjoy making these videos to show all the cool and interesting things that I see at these events, so I certainly hope that you enjoy watching them. But that's about it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you right here next time on Mac 84.